Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Lucky Brain Tumor Podcast. I'm Emily Truel, and I am very excited to have with me today Ramiz. Ramiz, thank you for joining me.
Hi, Emily. I'm pleased to be with you.
Wonderful. Well, I know you were diagnosed with an acoustic neuroma, but it was some time ago. Would you share your story of diagnosis and what that was all like for you?
Yeah, my story started, my diagnosis happened in 1987, but I'm not sure when my story actually started because the diagnosis is probably was delayed by a good 4, 5 or more years. It was it was a time of different things, different times, different technology, and different location. I was at the time in Iraq, and at that time was the era of the Iraq-Iran war, and all medical resources were not for people like young people claiming of a bit of tinnitus in the ear or something. They think you are only playing games to stay away from army. So I was pushed away by many doctors, unfortunately. This is probably the only thing that to date angers me, and it was until early 1987 where just by my good luck, my sister was at her end of her medicine studies, and she was working with one of the prime neurosurgeons in the country, and she talked to him about it, and he asked that I visit him, and that's when he suggested to go to see an ENT specialist where they did this balance test, and my left ear had zero balance. I mean, you know that the one which they inject warm water into your ear, and the ceiling starts rotating. Right ear, it rotates like a lunar coaster, but left ear, zero. I was actually complaining of tinnitus since I was probably 24, 23, and nothing happened. And then I was complaining about hearing loss, and the doctors will say, no, nothing wrong. As that's when my normally you would start to look at surgery and things like that. In my case, I had to fight the local system because young people are not allowed to travel the country to have surgery elsewhere. And I had to go to, instead of thinking what medical uh, treatment I should get, how to get it. I was actually fighting the system to get approval to travel the country. Finally, I got approval, which was a horrific one. The approval was from the highest authority in the country. I don't want to bring names, uh, and uh, and I was approved to travel by myself and without foreign currency. And I'm still lucky. I have an English auntie who said just arrived in Birmingham, and I said I can arrive in Heathrow, not in Birmingham, because I have no cash in my pocket. And she said arrive in Heathrow, and I arrived and was looked after in a perfect way since that moment. So, yes, it's hard. Technology was different also. Remember at that time, CT scans were the most advanced thing. However, CT scans are more catered for bones and like solid surfaces rather than tissues. So it can see neuroma, but it doesn't really fully, show where it is exactly or anything like that. Yeah, my CT scan was good and think, but the tumor at that time was about 42 millimeters by 38 millimeters in size, so it was quite large and thing. So yeah, arriving in Birmingham and in the UK, and within a week I had the surgery. So I've never. I remember also that was that was the time where my only Google search was my sister, who's a medical student, you know. So it's totally different era. And yeah, and the only thing I knew that I needed the surgery and that there is a chance of facial nerve loss. It depends on when they open, where is it exactly. And yeah, so within a week, I saw the surgeon, and within a few days, and then within a week, I was admitted for surgery. I mean, the surgery, I will say, it went well. However, it was very, very serious. I mean, because of the situation, I ended up with a major bleeding. I lost 7.5 pints of blood. For those who don't know, our human body contains 9 to 11 pints of blood. So that was serious. I mean, and I was also lucky with the anesthesia doctor who was really experienced because of the bleeding. They can the blood transfusion was not quick enough to replenish the blood I'm losing. And so he had to give me an injection to lower my body temperature so that the blood viscosity increases and reduces the blood out so that the blood in can replenish. But you can see that that's purely depending on his experience, because that injection, a little bit extra dose, and he will freeze me to death. So I still remember waking up in the ICU and feeling cold. Even today, when I think about it, I shiver. That's cold. I mean, imagine you're in the shorts in the North Pole. That's how cold it was. So anyway, I mean, the surgery, because of the bleeding and things, it took much longer than it should. It was supposed 6 to 7 hours. It ended up around 14 hours, and because of the bleeding, what I've been told by the surgeon, at hour 12, they lost the facial nerve. And for them, it was they normally try to reconnect it. However, because of the bleeding and things, they had to favor life to the nerve. So they had to go. I was in ICU in I'd call it very critical condition for like 3 4 days, 2 3 days. And however, coming out, I had no headaches. Tinnitus was still there. No headaches. I was weak for a week or so. Uh, and there is nothing like I could complain of, apart from I was too tired to think of having lost my facial nerve. I mean, I remember the ICU, the surgeon came to the ICU and he was mentioning, he said, look, this is what, yeah, I fully recall that he telling me that, but these things should come as a shock. It didn't shock me because, not because I didn't care, but I was so tired, too tired to think of it. Probably it was like 2 3 weeks. After the surgery that I started thinking, oh yeah, this has happened. Uh, I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing, but probably is a good to absorb the shock at the first place. Uh, yeah, the look, I was in hospital for about 10 days. I was looked after in an amazing way by as I mentioned, I came to England by myself, but I had my English auntie, and she looked after me like as an angel, and I was with her for a few months to recover. But then, because of the facial nerve, I had this other surgery, which was you can call it, it's a cosmetic neurosurgical surgery to graft the facial nerve. So they will take a sural nerve from my leg, about 8 inches of it, and graft it between right side into the left side, and that was, I think that took over about 4 months after the first surgery, and was supposed to uh, give any improvement within 200 days. It's exactly 1 millimeter a day. It's 200 millimeters. So, and funny enough, within day 86, I started feeling some pulses, which thing. So it was. Yeah, I mean, I know that at the time that that surgery was hasn't been done 100 times in the world. It was very new. I mean, so I think it started in late 1970s, and by 1980s, but hasn't been many cases done. Uh, like to replace the sural nerve. It was a painful, very painful. The surgery itself was not. If I have time to explain it, I'm engineer, so I like to explain things. So the thing is, they take the nerve, put it in a plastic tube, and then they thread it under the skin between the right and the left side, and then they connect the wires from right and left, so have like a cut here and a cut here, and they connect. So the idea is to transfer part of the power from the proper side into the non-functioning side. And now by doing so, they're actually messing all the glands in this area. So when I woke up, my cheeks were literally touching my shoulders. And when it eased, the pain was horrendous. I was given literally, I was given real drugs for as painkillers. Jokingly, the surgeon was saying, "Hey, whatever left, you can flush it in the toilet or sell it." So it's real drug, and it's a scary thing. Just like but I needed it. It was so yeah. Um, Other than that, I mean, recovery was went well. After the first surgery, I took a few. I don't know whether it was few days or a few weeks where I would sleep like for hours, like I would sleep like, I mean, I remember, we're in England. Whenever the sun is out, you will be in the garden. So I had this beach chairs, and I would go and lay and would sleep like a baby for many hours. Could be 3 4 hours just sleeping. It's just like as if I've been deprived sleep for so long. Uh, yeah, so that's in brief how my both surgeries went.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. Did you lose your hearing as well with the surgery?
Sorry, can you if you say it again?
Did you lose your hearing as well with the
Oh,
surgery?
definitely. Yeah.
Mhm.
If I have anything, it will be non-useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And I am wondering when those nerves were healing. I know for me, when some of my nerves were healing after my brain surgery, it was almost like fire. Like someone would hold iron to the side of my head when those things would come back online. Did you sort of have that nerve pain as things were healing and coming back?
I had something different, and it was another scary one, and that's why I didn't mention this. Because apparently the way, I mean, at least this is the way I understood it, when they operate in that area, they sort of take the other nerves and peg them to the sides so that they can work. So it's like a cloth peg, or similar. This is my engineer's or layman way of saying. And because of the time, extended time, so these are all stretched, and it's like a wires which get, the insulation get a bit like affected. What happened after about a month of the surgery, my right foot was stiff. It was, when you sit on your foot for an hour and you feel like your foot is that big, it was stiff and I couldn't tell what it is. And the surgeon said, "Look, this is because of this. It will ease." Now, when it eased, that was the surprise. I It started giving me like shooting pain, random and random in the time intervals and in the location within the foot, and it's like a knife being here, there. It was, and you cannot predict when it's coming, how is it going to come, where is it going to come, and the one answer I got from the surgeon that it may ease, which was very worrying. Now, it did ease after about a couple of months. I mean, till now, as I'm sitting, I can feel it's tickling on my toe, but it's just a reminder of life's things. It's nothing I'm worrying about now.
Hmm. So, since you had your facial nerve graft surgery, were you able to recover full function or most of the function? Did you have any lasting effects like dry eye or anything that you've had to learn to cope with?
Okay. Uh, for recovery, no, I got reasonable recovery. I mean, dry eye, yes. Even now, sometimes I get some dry eye, but that's not really very affecting. The main thing after the surgery, when the left side was fully non-functional, it was swallowing in the beginning because especially when you eat grains or things like rice or things. Yeah, I could drop a couple of grains, and it's like the human bodies think. The good thing is, but the body will take over. So the right hand side, the quickly took over. It was even pronouncing some letters like the P would come very fade and so on. But then, yeah, the right hand side took over fairly well and quickly. Uh, one thing amazing about our human body also is with the whole facial nerve work from that nerve, excluding the upper lid of the eye. This is otherwise the upper lid would have dropped down. So I mean, our body is an amazing machine.
It really is. So it's been quite some time now since you went through all of this, and I would love to hear sort of how this has impacted your life through the years and maybe some lessons you've learned or ways that it has benefited you maybe even to have gone through this and learned these things.
Look, yeah, I can see your question. Somebody else might say, well, how could this benefit somebody? You don't wish it to anyone. I mean, but when it happened, it happened. Life's happened. Look, definitely it benefit. I mean, when you go through hard times, yeah, it brings the best out of you, or the most of your strength, the strength that you didn't know you acquire already. We are brittle, however, we also have like an embedded strength inside us. I think that it brings the resilience that you on other things, even small things. Yeah, you can achieve. You can see people around you. They may give up, but I don't want to give up. I mean, and that has been like, now it's about 37 years since. So yeah, I've been the case since.
Yeah. Wow. And as you went through all of this, what do you think helped you the most as you were going through the diagnosis and the recovery and all of the surgeries?
Well, the only help I can see is uh, after the hand of God is my English auntie.
Yeah. I think those people who are there for you in those moments can
I
make
mean,
all the
yeah, I
difference.
mean, yes. My auntie Nelly was like the angel that was put in my life before I was born.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's not an easy thing to go, and especially like having to travel by yourself at a young age and things. It's not easy, but there is always like angels that in the way that make things happen. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any balance struggles or any issues with mobility in any way from it?
No, no, not at all, and not even from after I like recovered from the surgery.
I'm guessing from your story about your vestibular nerve test that your body had acclimated to not having a functioning balance nerve already because you said they tested it and it didn't seem to be working at all already before you had
Yeah,
your surgery. So
yeah,
I've heard that before. Some folks have already gotten used to not having a working balance nerve before they have surgery.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I don't have that at all.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, anything else that you would like to share? I know you have a memoir that's coming out soon, and I'm very excited to hear more about that if you wanted to share a little bit.
Yeah, that. Thank you. Yeah, that's something that's becomes out of the project of 2025, 2026 for me. I suddenly look for nearly 33 years. I've never met one person who had the same surgery. It was until I met with the Australian Acoustic Neuroma Association, that where I suddenly in one day I met like a dozen or more of people, which felt quite good. Like yeah, it felt and so you can see I traveled that mission solo pretty much all the way, and it's different times, and even for me it's different times as with immigration changing places. There was no call it any like community support or things like that at times. It's totally different times, and even talking about aftercare, I remember talking to my surgeon about having another CT scan, and he was so confident. He said, "No, take one in 5 years. You don't need. I know what I have done." And that 5 years, when the 5 years came, it's I didn't forget it, but I was too scared to take a CT scan. So and it took me until 2002. I was living at the time in Richmond, Virginia, and I was doing a lot of studies for professional engineering exams, and I started getting multiple headaches. Where my GP, she suggested to take a CT scan just in case, and thing. And that week to get the result was so critical to me. I was so restless thing, because I just couldn't imagine it again. When the results came clear, it was like a birthday. Yeah, so now a lot of things happened since, and it's all around. So talking about my book, the title is "Stronger Than the Scar," and I wanted to write this story and write it starting from my acoustic neuroma, how it's happened, and it's a memoir for everything until today, after living in 6 countries and surviving it, building a family, building a business, and enjoying life. hopefully in a nice way.
That's wonderful. I'm going to really look forward to reading that when you're finished
Oh,
because
definitely. Yeah, I'm
uh,
aiming to it will be ready in Amazon by March, April 2026.
wonderful. Well, that's great. I will look forward to that. So before we go, if you have anything that you would like other people with acoustic neuromas to know, this would be a great opportunity to give one last piece of advice or something you'd like to share.
Yeah, look, first, don't listen to my story other than it's a history because it's a different era, it's a different technology, different times, and I was in different circumstances. So don't take it as oh, this is really horror story thing. Uh, I mean, we are lucky now. We are at the times where technology is available and. Everything is happening in a much better and easier way. I hear stories of people who go and come out within a few days and as if nothing has happened. It's all what it needs. It's strength. Yeah, get your own support, the support around you. I'm sure, like family, friends, and be strong because it is not as bad as my story.
I really do appreciate that. And I think your story is wonderful to hear because it was really difficult in ways that aren't normal now, but yet you still had this wonderful full life and you overcame all of that. So that's very inspiring. And thank you so much for sharing today. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you, Emily.